Well, at the end of the day, I just wanted to share a thought about marriage. A few things I was thinking on over this last month. The Bible begins with a marriage, Adam and Eve in the garden, and it ends with a marriage, the wedding of the bride of Christ to Christ, the church to the Lamb. And then I had been reading Song of Solomon, and I thought, that's funny. Right in the middle of the Bible, there is this nice, spicy Persian love story about King Solomon or Prince Solomon. And so, beginning, middle, and end, God has a great theme of marriage. And I just realized that to me, in this time of reflection, not that this is theological or I'm not writing a theology book or anything, but it's as though the emotional components of trust are being addressed in the beginning, the physical components of a spicy love that God designed and how He wants us to have intimacy within our marriage and how that reflects with Him. Wonderful, right in the middle. And then the culmination and revelations of the spiritual part of marriage. And he's kind of highlighting all these different parts as a theme from beginning to end. And I realized that, we often, well, we know in Genesis that the fall, the great fall of Eve taking the fruit, and letting that deception stew in her mind and then stepping right into disobedience is the fall. That is called the original sin um, after Lucifer fell. Um, but, there was this time in their relationship before she took that fruit that you think, I imagine, of course, I'm very imaginative, that Adam was happy to go play Tarzan and Jane and check on the menagerie and make a kale salad and explore with God in the cool of the evening what it's going to be like to take dominion on the earth and build his kingdom. And they had exciting, adventurous things to think on and plan. And here's Eve just so distracted. Like, Adam's like, where's your head? And she's thinking, I just had that interesting talk with the serpent. I mean, didn't you find that kind of interesting? And Adam's thinking, well, I did, but I didn't notice you didn't bring that up with God when we talked with him last night. And she's thinking, I wasn't ready. I was just thinking about it. And he's thinking, okay, but here's the thing. I'm not sure we could talk about it with him tonight or tomorrow, but also I just thought it'd be fun. Like, I had planned to make elderberry syrup, and we got some gardening and transplanting. Like, I've been talking to God, transplant the raspberries, expand it over here, and then we're gonna have an orchard. And then I was gonna go just jump through the trees with the monkeys. Come on, we could play naked in the waterfall all day long. And she's just over here thinking about what the serpent said, and just letting it stew in her heart and mind. And here's the thing, we go, well, if Adam would have been a leader, if he just would have been a good leader, we would not be in this crisis in the world. Well, if Eve would have been submissive. It's all because she wasn't submissive. Therefore, we are in the crisis of this whole world. Their communication for the most perfect people in the world, it was not good. Sin, 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 sin. I mean, they didn't communicate together. They weren't good at that. They didn't communicate with God. They could have gotten some help earlier, could have had some counsel. Someone could have stepped in. It's just sin all over the place. Bad leadership, bad submission. It's just all bad. But the funny thing is, that's not what God says. He doesn't say they lost their perfection in the garden and started the sin of mankind, except for taking a bite of that fruit. So then what is all this stuff before that we criticize and complain about? Well, just my opinion, but if you want some encouragement about your marriage, I believe if God gave the first man and woman room to grow, room to get to know each other, room to learn about their personalities, room and time to not be in a hurry to figure out how to communicate and how to talk with him and include him in the relationship. If he gave them time to figure out what does leading and submitting in a dance together as a couple looks like, who decides what we're doing today and what we're talking about today and how much time we spend contemplating any one thing. These are things that in the nature of every couple are going to be unique and need to be explored. And God did not say that they were full of sin because they were learning. They were simply learning, what does this need to look like, that we invite God into all of these things and we learn to do this emotional, physical, spiritual dance together. The learning part seems to be as much a part of his plan for the original couple as learning how to take care of the garden and the animals and cultivate and build a kingdom. It seems he allowed that, and I hope that will encourage you to give yourself grace as a couple in marriage to learn your unique personality dance and your unique communication dance, and that God wants there to be lots of time for growing and learning. And I believe we could see that it was maybe that way from the plan at the very beginning. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Take some time to learn your dance, and I love you. Have a good night.